and welcome to another lawnfawn video. Today we are introducing two dies, Happy Summer Line Border and Hello Border. We're also going to be making two cards. So first up, there are these two word dies, and I absolutely love them as simple sentiments on cards. One of the things that I love about these word border dies is that they're actually longer than a standard size card. So they're a little bit longer than 5.5, so they completely cover the front. You can just trim off any of the excess, and it's such a cool look. The first thing we're going to do is create a center picture window card using the Hello border. We're going to cut both the card base and the center panel out of some spiffy speckles paper. Then we're going to take the oval-shaped window that comes in the center picture window card, and we're going to line that up. And we're going to take that center score line in our panel there. We're going to line that up right in the center between those two pieces of metal. That's how we'll know it's in perfect placement. We'll hold it in place with some low tack tape, run it through the die cut machine, and now we're going to have that really cool stitched window opening. This is the Critter Chatter stamp set, and I love this so much. And we're going to stamp in grape jelly ink the word translation. And underneath, eventually, we're going to have that cool hello border. So now we're going to start to work on forming this really cool interactive kind of pop-up card. So we're going to add some 1/8 inch double-sided tape to each of the tabs there, one on either side of that center panel piece. The die has created 3 score lines on this piece. So there's 2 score lines creating those tabs on either side, and then there's a score line in the center. And we're going to fold along all of those score lines, and then we're going to use our bone folder just to reinforce those folds so that it's a nice sharp crease. We'll fold our card base in the center, and then we're going to start to line up this window piece. So we're going to peel off the liner paper on the right-hand side tab, and we're going to tuck that tab underneath. Then we're going to line up the center score line of the card base with the center score line of that open window panel, and then we're going to be able to push down, attaching the right-hand side to it. Then we can take this whole piece, and you'll see we're going to be able to fold it back and then fold it in half. We'll peel up the liner paper, and then we're going to close the card like a book, and that's going to pick up that adhesive, putting our window exactly in the center of this cute little mini card. And if you've never made a center picture window card, make sure to check out the intro video. We'll link it in the description below. To create the sky, we've used that same center piece, and we've die cut some of the blue spiffy speckles from that, but we're going to cut that without the window opening, and we're also going to trim off those 2 tabs, one on either side. So we're just going to line up that score line that the die created for us right into the paper trimmer, and then we can just trim off any of this excess. This is going to create a really cool panel that has the score line in the center, and you're going to be able to drop that right in to create a blue sky on the inside of that kind of tunnel as we look inside to this card. We'll add some tape runner to the back of that piece and permanently adhere it there to the background, creating our sky piece. Now next we're going to need to cut our hill. And normally, and if you've seen this intro to center picture window card video, we usually put the hill in beforehand. I forgot today. I just completely forgot to put my hill, but that's okay because you can add it in afterwards. It's a little bit harder than adding it in at the beginning, but it still totally works. So the die creates 3 score lines, one on each side to make the tab and one down the center. We're going to fold those score lines and add 1/8 inch tape to each of those tabs. Then I'm going to peel up the liner paper on the right-hand side, and we're going to do that same idea. We're going to take the score line in the middle of the hill and line it up with the score line in the middle of the card base, and that's how we'll know it's in perfect placement, and we're going to secure that right-hand side down. Now we can peel up the liner paper on the left-hand side, we can fold that tab under, and then secure that side down. And it's going to work just perfectly and look super, super cute. So you can either add in your hills at the beginning, or you can even drop them in after you've already formed the window portion of the card. The center picture window card add-on has these cool little panel dies. So I went ahead and ran that through with that same blue speckled paper, and we're going to add some blue sky to either side of this scene. We're also going to use that same rectangle, and we're going to die cut some of that green paper, and we're going to use a stitched hillside border, and I'm going to die cut a border from the top and the bottom, and those are going to be layered onto those side panels so that it looks like it's kind of echoing what's going on in that cool 3D element. So you'll see as we add those on there how cool it looks, and it really ties everything together. Now it's time to work on decorating the front of the card, and I wanted to incorporate the Critter Chatter on this. So we're going to die cut this stitched speech bubble backdrop from some of that spiffy speckles paper, and then we're going to take the die that forms the card base, and we're going to run that die through the die cut machine. So we're just going to kind of line it up on the speech bubble, see where it looks nice, hold it in place with some low tack tape, and I have my very special assistant that's going to run it through the die cut machine and then bring it back. So right here, this is Luna. This is my mom and dad's dog, and she is the cutest thing ever, and she loves to die cut, obviously. So right there, you'll see we ran that through the die cut machine, and then we're just going to trim off the excess there so that we just have the front of the card. Next up, we're going to take out that Critter Chatter stamp set, and I love this stamp set because it has all of these critter words. We've got woofs and barks and purrs and aroo and meows, and so I'm going to take that same grape jelly ink for a tone-on-tone look, and we're going to stamp this and fill in all of these speech bubbles with different cat and dog words. So that's going to be the outside, and then the inside is going to say translation hello, and it's going to have a dog and cat on the inside. So this is so super cute. For the last speech bubble there, we're going to take out this paw print from the Say What Pets stamp set, and I'm going to stamp that into that tiny little one. Sometimes I put exclamation points or hearts, but I thought the paw print was just a perfect little addition to this scene. So after I made this, I started thinking it was just a little bit too plain for the front of the card. It just wasn't quite enough. So once I saw that it was a little bit too plain, we decided to take out the center picture window card add-on, and it's got this cool little stitched rectangle that fits perfectly on the front of the card. So we ran that through the die cut machine. Now it's got a nice little stitched detail all the way around, and when we layer it on the front of the card, it's also going to have that white speckled border. And I think that made it just look a little bit more finished. I like that it's a little bit plain because I want the surprise to be the inside of the card, but I like that that white border and the stitch detail just gives it a nice pop. So I went ahead, stamped, colored, and die cut the cute little dog and cat from Say What Pets, and they're going to go onto the inside of this scene. So we're just going to add a little tape to the very bottom of them, and we can just pop them right into that hill. So I like to look through the window and kind of see how they're going to look nice, move them around until they're in perfect placement. And then to help fill in the sky, the center picture window card has these cute tiny little clouds that I absolutely love. So went ahead and die cut those from some white cardstock, and we're going to add some tape runner to the back and then layer them into the sky. And when you layer things into the background of the center picture window cards, it really just makes it look so much more 3D. You can see as you look in there, it's like, wow, those little clouds, they kind of look like nothing, like they're not going to be that much. And when you add them in, it's really the finishing touch that makes that 3D element of the card really pop. Now to tie in the rest of that scene, there are those tiny little cloud dies. We're going to die cut some more clouds and we'll add them onto the side panels too. And I think that's going to give it a really nice finished look, and I really like the pop of white of the clouds, and it kind of goes with the pop of white we have on the front of the card too. The last step for this card is to add that hello border, and I love this border so much because it's so delicate. It's so great for clean and simple cards. You can just add them to the front, but I love that I can even add it to the center picture window card. Because it has such long tails on either side, you can actually put it in the center of things. You can even offset it a little bit so that the tail kind of extends into the card, so you can play around with what's best for your design. You'll see I'm going to do it just right in the center this time. So I'm going to add some liquid glue to the back, and then we're going to layer that onto that center panel. And because this piece is so delicate, when we fold the card in, it's all going to end up just kind of folding on itself and working out really great. So we're going to lay that piece on, and then we're going to take scissors and just cut off that excess. And so it's going to look like that hello starts and ends right at that cool 3D window area. It would have looked nice, I think, even to let those tails continue on into the rest of the scene too, because it would look really beautiful either way. I kind of want to make another one and try that out. So now you can see the front of the card is all done, and when you open it up, you get that great translation hello, which I think is so super cute. And there's something about that die cut delicate border on this 3D interior element that I think just makes it even more special. So I had so much fun making this card, and I really love these line borders so much. Next up, Shari is going to be creating a really cool ink blended card using the Happy Summer line border. And so right now we've got out the sunrise backdrop, which I absolutely adore. We've die cut that from some white cardstock, and we also have a standard size card base. So we're going to take some yellow ink here and an ink blending brush, and we're just going to blend that up onto the sky, making it lighter towards the top of the rays and darker towards the base of the sun. Then for the background, we're going to do an orangey color with a blending brush there, and we're just going to build that up same way, darker towards the bottom and lighter almost out into white at the top. Then next up, we're going to die cut the tropical backdrop, and I love this backdrop so much. And we're going to be die cutting that also from some white cardstock, and all of the color we're going to be adding is with Distress ink. So in this case, we have the tea dye Distress ink, and we're going to use the blender brush and create the sand here for the palm trees. After that, we're going to color in our tree trunks and our palm leaves. And we're going to do the same thing using a blending tool here to add ink to these white die cuts. So this is a really fun way to use just white cardstock and add your color with different inks. It really gives it this really cool kind of artsy look that I really, really love. We've also die cut a piece with one of the new stitched wavy banners, and we're going to color that in like the ocean here. So we're going to do different shades of blue, darker towards the top and lighter towards the bottom. And now we can start to layer all of these pieces. So we're going to add some liquid glue with the glue tube, and we're going to layer on the tree trunks and then those palm tree leaves, and you can see this scene already starting to form and just how beautiful it is. Now it's time to start layering these pieces. So we added some liquid glue to the sun, and we're going to layer that over that orange sky that we created earlier, and you can see just how gorgeous that looks. And then next we've die cut the Happy Summer line border here out of some peacock cardstock. And to figure out the exact placement of it, we laid the tropical border on top there just to make sure that it was going to look nice. And then we can add some liquid glue and kind of see where we're going to place it. So this is a cool way to use the line border where it's not just in the center of the card, but it's offset just a little bit. And I think it's a really cool look, and it's going to look really nice because it's going to look like it's coming right out from behind that palm tree. So we can add that delicate line border on top, and then we're just going to trim off the excess there on the right hand side. And now we can start to layer the rest of our scene building pieces. So we're going to take the ocean there from the stitched wavy border, and we're going to layer that onto the sun. And then we can take that tropical backdrop, add liquid glue to that, and layer that on top too. To help finish up this beachy scene, we're going to take out the On the Beach stamp set, and we went ahead and stamped, colored, and die cut a bunch of the images from the set. And this is kind of a fun and unique way to use this set because instead of using the critters, we're using all of their decorative elements. So we have the beach umbrella and the beach ball, we have the sunglasses and shells and the coconut drink as well. And I think it's a really, really cute scene and a really fun way to use that set and just with a completely different look. And so this card is so super cute and it's all done. Those sunglasses to me are the perfect finishing touch. I think this would make someone smile this summer, especially if they went on a vacation. They could come back to such a happy card, and all of the ink blending on the die cuts looks absolutely beautiful. Next up, we have some gorgeous cards by the design team, and this card by Megan is so amazing. You pull the tab, and that cool little hammock is going to float up and down, and I love how she inlaid die cut her Happy Summer line border. This card by Audrey is just beautiful. I love that watercolor she did and how she put the summer border actually at an angle, which is such a cool look. These word borders are really perfect on layouts, and I absolutely love this one by Melissa with those awesome puffy clouds. This card by Lynette is so super cute. I love how she incorporated that into her fun sunray scene. Here, this is so cool what Letitia did. She layered the happy summer on the sun rays, and it looks amazing. Here, Kay created a border between her sky and her ocean using the hello border, and I think it looks incredible. This card by Elena is so super cute. Look at those flamingos, absolutely adorable, and I love that white line border with the tails hanging off the sides. And this scene by Melissa is just so sweet. I love that mermaid hanging out with her palm trees with that hello border. And I love the smooth sailing cards by Elise and how she put the hello border justified over to the right. And this card by Shari is so much fun. I love those rainbow sun rays. And then this one here by Kay is just beautiful. I love her amazing bright and bold inking. And then here I love the sunset version of the card by Melissa with that beautiful glittered tropical backdrop. So I can't wait to see what you guys do with these word borders, so make sure to share it with us. Thank you so much for watching today and have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!